Well, Spain is having indeed a very strong recovery with the GDP growth of 5.5% in 2021 and 22. The beginning of 2023 is also quite positive on the labour market, and so the outlook is relatively positive. I mean, all institutions foresee Spain to be the strongest growing country of the large economies in Europe. And I think that's due to the fact that we managed well the response to the pandemic, and we are making a massive investment and reform plan, the recovery plan.
But inflation is still a worry, right?
Yes, but luckily also last year we managed to bring it down by 5 points in 5 months. And the key concern now is food inflation, particularly because of the impact on families. But we should continue on the same line to continue to bring it down so that we can have a strong and sustainable growth.
Right. I do want to talk about, you know, the energy side of things, right? So Spain has had some massive LNG import capacity, right, coming through. But that has not translated into distribution pipelines and energy integration with the rest of Europe. So what is being done at your end as a group for the European Union to come together to solve this problem?
Indeed, Spain has a relative advantage in the energy side because we have 1/3 of the LNG regasification capacity of the EU, a very diversified supply portfolio, and also we've managed to have a lower retail prices thanks to more appropriate energy regulation, and that is creating a strong competitive advantage for Spanish firms and attracting important investment.
So that's working well for Spain, but how do you help the rest of Europe?
We're more than willing to help the rest. The problem is we do not have interconnection capacity. We're working together. Well, we're supporting all the initiatives coming from the EU and working together with France and Germany to try to push forward a reinforcement of existing pipelines.
Where do conversations stand on that front?
Well, it's a difficult issue, you know, where are these pipelines going to be built? How are we going to finance them? I think we made good progress last year, in particular when it comes to the interconnection with France, but and also interconnection with the south of France, you know, through the sea. So we're going to have to work on building these infrastructures so that Spain and the Iberian Peninsula can contribute more to the resilience and strategic autonomy of Europe altogether.
Time is of the essence, right? Because this winter has been sorted, but everybody's talking about the next winter and the next winter, and you know how things, how Europe decouples from supplies coming in from Russia. And so, when do you think you'll have a handle on things? You know, the 27 member nations of the European Union, as far as this issue is concerned, this matter is concerned, of energy integration.
Well, yeah, the sooner the better, of course. But there are many things happening at the same time. Also, energy efficiency is relevant. The development of new technologies such as green hydrogen and other green methanol and other elements. You know, new technologies. The deployment of renewables, that's going to also increase the efficiency and the autonomy of the EU, and all these things are happening at the same time. And I think that in a matter of a couple of years we will see a very significant change in the way Europe is going. And so far I think we've been able to also stop the energy blackmail that maybe 1 year ago was so important for the EU as a whole.
Right. So we had the French Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire essentially highlight that it's important for Europe, member nations, to come together on the global tax policy, talking about really those digital tax levies. And so where are you on that story? Because the US obviously is resisting that move because it's counterproductive for their businesses, their multinationals, their tech companies doing business in Europe. Where do you stand in that story? How much support are you willing to give the French government when it comes to rolling out this policy? How united are you on this issue?
Actually, Spain has been one of the first countries to have a digital tax ourselves, together with France, and we have very strongly supported the key progress we made last year, the major breakthrough we had in setting up a minimum tax at the global level, because indeed we're talking about multinational companies and we need a coordinated approach throughout the world. I think the US was very supportive and we reached that agreement, and now we have to put it in motion. We have to implement it. We are doing it on the EU side. I think it's now for the rest of the world to also make progress on that front.